Good morning from Spirited Vibes. It's a beautiful morning. It's autumn, so it's April. We've just had our first frost this morning. So I'm just having to wander around my veggie garden, which I'll show you in my background, to see if there was any frost damage. You can see there in the background, but no, all looks well. All looks well. And just there, I'm standing, just spotted it. See if I can, there, look at that, the late roses. The late autumn roses, aren't they lovely? Beautiful. Oh, right, so it's almost Easter, actually. It's Easter this weekend, so I must tell you what happened yesterday. I went up to the dairy, the local dairy, took a walk up there in the afternoon. I spent most of the day cleaning the house, so nothing special happened yesterday. I was just cleaning the house and thought I would go and shout myself an Easter egg. So I went up to get some marshmallow Easter eggs, and off I went, armed with my Easter eggs in my hand and a bottle of milk, and this little four-wheel drive pulls up beside me on the footpath, and this woman jumps out. I don't know who she is, I don't even know her name, and she jumps up and she goes, "Oh, I've been meaning to catch up with you," she says, and her son had told her about me, and she said, "Oh, I'm going through some, a lot of changes, as a lot of us are." And so she had several options that she could take. And of course, it's very hard to make a decision when there's several options. I mean, you haven't got a lot of options, it's easier to make a decision. But when you've got options, it's actually harder. Anyway, so she had all these different options, and she thought she'd book a holiday to help her take time out. And then she decided it wouldn't take a holiday, so she cancelled it. And then she rebooked it because she needed the holiday. So sometimes we get so caught up in here that we lose touch with here. So anyway, she's telling me all about this stuff. And I suddenly became aware that there was a man standing between me and her, standing very close to her, his back to me, and he's curly hair, sandy coloured hair, looked probably, I don't know, in his late 50s. And he was standing close to her, and he was her husband, and he was telling her that he loved her and that he wanted to help her through this stressful time. And so when she paused in her chatter, I said to her about this man standing here. And she looked at me and says, "Well, how did you know my husband had died?" And I said, "Well, I didn't. He's here." There's nothing special about that. The thing is, I can't see him with my eyes because our eyes have very limited vision, very limited. But I saw him in here. In my mind, I saw him. I saw him standing there. It's like a knowing. Suddenly, I became aware that there was this man standing here, and he was feeling these thoughts to me. He was feeling to me, not talking, not blah, 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 but with his heart, he was feeling that he was her husband. He was feeling the love. He was feeling all these things that I could pick up. My senses could pick up and pass it on. Why I could pick it up? Because you can pick it up. Is simply because we are all vibration. We are all energy. I'm energy, you're energy, he's energy, nothing different. Our physical shell that we live in, the body, is a very dense form of energy. And our soul is a very high form of energy. So our soul's in here, moving around on this low vibrational plane that we're on, doing what it wants to do. When the body can no longer serve it, it casts it off and it leaves and it goes to a higher vibration, and it can carry on doing whatever it's doing. It's the soul is eternal. It's in the Bible, the soul is eternal. So he is a vibration. So what he had done was he had dropped his vibration down to a lower vibration so that I could pick up him being here, but he can only hold it for a very short time. And that's why you only see glimpses of them. and this is possibly where ghosts and all that is seen, is because they can only hold it for a little while. And sometimes we can raise our vibration and pop over there to their other levels, but only hold it for a little while. When we are standing on a footpath, as I was and she was, and there's a few people moving around, you think that's all there is on the footpath, but there's not. We are surrounded all the time by other energy forms, but they're not on our vibration, we're not on their vibration. But they're there, and it was just a matter of him being able to drop his vibration long enough for me to become aware of him. And if she wasn't so caught up in her processing mind up here, this is like a big computer processor, she wasn't so caught up inside of here, and she was able to more think with the heart, because the heart is where we receive information. It's the receiver, this is the processor. So if she was more in tune with this, she would have picked him up as well. Oops, sorry about the camera shaking, my hands get a bit sore. Sorry, my hand's all wobbly. So that's how everything, the heart is the receiver to the universe. See, we all come from the one source energy. I don't know what you'd call it, Godhead, whatever you would like to call it. We are the one source energy. And we're all kind of like hanging on a thread, which is like a clothesline. We're all hanging off the same clothesline. We're all the same thing, from the same source. From God, we are all children of. We are exactly the same. There's no different. Okay, we might come in different packages, brown, yellow, blue, whatever, but we're all exactly the same. Some are male, some are female, whatever. You know, different packages, same thing. So when you go argue with your brother or your neighbour, you're actually arguing with yourself, or part of yourself, which is kind of silly, really. But anyway, that aside, we need to, I think, for humanity, to get away from the indoctrination that we live in. We are living in a lot of manipulation. When we are young, very, very young, when we are young children, like I've got a granddaughter who's 3 months old, she's just pure love, and she feels everything, and then it goes to the processor. She feels everything, so she's very much in tune with the universe, in tune with her surroundings. As we are getting older, we are programmed and taught to think a certain way, eat a certain thing, dress a certain way, and all cultures train their society in different ways. So although an event might happen, we might all perceive it slightly differently because of our training. If we thought more with the heart, if we connected more to our heart and let that come in first and say, well, I could have this option, I could have this option, I could have this option, but my heart is wanting this option, even if it doesn't seem quite like sensible. My heart really wants this. That's probably the right way. It's when we get into the processor that has been programmed by humanity, we start doing the pros and cons and logic and and often take paths which take us the long way instead of the short way. So anyway, it was a bit of a ramble, wasn't it? But anyway, what I was trying to say, I suppose, is that we can all start saying, how does my heart feel? When something happens, how does my heart feel about this? And then be bold enough with your life and take the fear away. See, low vibrational energies, and I'm going to do a video about that. I'll just let this tractor go past. I live in a rural area, so we have a tractor going past the whole stack of silage. Anyway, low vibrational energies, and there are a lot of them down here where we are, they function and feed off fear. Fear is it's dessert. That's why they create wars, and they create, pandemics. They create all sorts of things, because they need society to be afraid. Because when you're afraid, they can feed off it, and then they grow stronger, we grow weaker. Now, if we come from a level of love, which is a higher vibration, and we say, well, that's nice, but no thank you. Thank you, but no thank you. Then what happens is that they lose that control. They need us to be afraid. And I don't know where I'm going with this one, but as I said, we're all vibration. We are in control of our soul. No one can control our soul. Nobody. Nobody has control over our soul. It's ours. It's us. So we control what we expose our soul to and what we feed our soul. So if you're feeding it love, feeding it high vibrations, organic food, so it's high vibrational food, hasn't been chemicals and all that all over it, doing the best you can to do that sort of thing, go for walks and keep that level of vibration up and fear down. And we all fear, because I know fear is a self-preservation thing as well, but if we can keep that level of fear where it's supposed to be, under control, then you will find that your perspective to the world will suddenly open, or slowly open I should say, and you'll start to see other things that aren't normally perceived with the eyes, because you train not to see these things with your eyes. So you become aware of sensations and feelings, and sometimes you can be aware of something there being near you. Or you can go into a room and think, oh, I don't like his vibration, it's a bit heavy, a bit and other people, I'm just drawn to that person because their vibration's so beautiful. I just want to be in it. As you start to do that more, your life will create more balance, and it'll just be so much easier to deal with. And now we have a chainsaw. Anyway, I just wanted to share that little story with you, to say that this is what happened yesterday, and I'm no different than you, and it can happen to you if we just let it happen. Bye for now.